3rd and long for Chihino. From the 38. Chihino looking left. Cary-Grove bringing pressure. Chihino down the far sideline looking for Taylor. Pass is caught. Tiptoeing down the sideline. Flipping the field. Talon Taylor into Trojan territory.
Yeah, and just what a play by Taylor. Go right along the sideline, as you said, adjusting the body, able to run down underneath it, and just throwing to a spot was Chihino, and he just knew that Taylor would be able to get there.
Taylor's mom, Venus, right in front of us, lets out a big scream for her son, the current North Central softball head coach. 3rd and short, just barely beyond the Trojan red zone. Trips to the left. Chihino in shotgun with Rumoro to his right. Drops back to pass, all time to throw, ranging left, now cutting back right. Chihino looking for the end zone, has a man inside the 5. Brought down, and it'll be a touchdown for the Vikings.
That was number 8, Finn Wepner, who got the rare reception there for the Vikings. Again, trips to the left, and he goes to the one man lined up on the right side.
Wepner through 2 defenders. And again, you saw multiple defensive backs looking where one was in the end zone once that designed play started to fall apart. But Finnegan Wepner, the 6'1" senior receiver, gets the first 6 points of the ball game. More and more kids you see in more Ashton Genty highlights of the patient running backs. I think back to Steelers' Le'Veon Bell,
yes.
just waiting for the play to develop, waiting for the best hole, not the first hole to open up. But that's just a different generation of football.
Yeah, it really is, and like you said, you see that a lot more often nowadays.
New set of downs for the Trojans, just barely on their side of the field. Here's a wide open give for Boone. Boone right across the middle is going to take this one to the end zone untouched. 7-6 Vikings up, but just like that, all the wind knocked out of the sails from the Vikings. A huge rush from Holden Boone.
Yeah, and that's why it's so difficult to defend this team, because you never know when they're going to break through, and that's all it takes. Once Boone gets through the line, he is off to the races. You saw that last week, even a 3rd and 3 play, and he took it 73 yards for a touchdown.
Cary-Grove has forced 22 turnovers on defense this year. Man in motion from right to left. Chihino passing again. Looking that way. Pocket collapses, rolling out down the right side. Looking cross, has Conkey inside Trojan territory.
That's just a nice job, all set up by Chihino, able to roll out to the right side, and how frustrating that is for the defense, able to just create things with his legs. It looks like maybe he could decide to take it himself, but he is a pass-first quarterback, and that's what he did.
He ran the ball 5 times last week for 21 yards and 2 scores, but those were either 4th and 1 or goal line situations of we just need a little bit. Cary-Grove's defense has held opponents to 46% successful rate on 4th down. 4th and 4, Vikings will spread it out. Trying the hard count. Chihino trying to draw somebody off sides, but Trojan front 4 led by Gavin Burt, making sure nobody moves. Looking to throw across the middle. Has Conkey inside the 30. Diving forward towards the ground, staying upright and hanging on for the grab. It's the sophomore.
And what a play by Conkey, able to just reach out, and nice throw by Chihino, putting it where only his man could receive it. Conkey using his 6'1", 165 frame to bring it in, and again, just showing the trust in the sophomore receiver.
3rd and 8 now from the 28. Chihino trips to the left. Kicks Taylor out wide, looking his way. Chihino steps up, reverses again. Chihino making something out of nothing for the end zone to Taylor. In and out of the hands. Could have been an interception.
Yeah, Peyton Seberg, the quarterback on the other end, playing safety on defense, and he was in the area.
Geneva's kicker, Jaden Hogden, a 3 for 6 kicking this year, a long of 36, so this would be out of his range anyway. 4th and 8. Here comes Chihino. Looking to pass across the left side, taking the deep shot again for Taylor. Touchdown! Talon Taylor in the back corner, beyond 2 defenders.
And again, just able to find space. Chihino knows his man is there, and a missed opportunity, like we said, for Cary-Grove. They had a chance at the pick. Seaberg was in the area, looked like he could have had it. It goes through. Second chance for Geneva's offense, and they make them pay. And if you're able to just keep them to 2 or 3 yard gains, that's a win if you're Geneva's defense.
Has trouble with the ball, and Seaberg just has to land on it. Frustration so far from number 11.
Yeah, and that sets up a big third down. You want to pick up a chunk here if you are Cary-Grove.
Quickly trying to get the ball into the hands of Boone, who we've already seen today what he can do in open field. And now 3rd and 10 from their own 30. Trojans feel the pressure mounting. Vikings get set up. Seaberg sends a man in motion.
Good. They're pointing to your sideline. They know it's coming that way.
Looking left, Seaberg will throw. Pocket collapses. Seaberg evades the first tackle and will be brought down right around the 20. It looked like he was going to stay upright. The turf monster aiding the tackle there. And a huge loss sets up 4th and a country mile.
Yeah, and the defensive line able to get right through. Pettit, Joe Pettit, the All-State defensive lineman for Geneva, maybe able to get through the right side, force him over to his right, the left side of the defensive line. And then again, you mentioned the turf bringing him down before Wendell.
Geneva's been able to march so far, though, but everything that's been backwards has been their own fault, really.
Yeah, and they're not afraid to go for it on 3rd and 4th down. A couple of 4th down conversions on that last touchdown drive for Geneva.
2nd and long, overthrown ball from Taylor. Makes the one-handed grab, evades the first man, and rushing down the sideline before being pushed out of bounds.
And again, that's just a quarterback's best friend. The throw doesn't have to be perfect. He will make the play if you just get it close to him, and that's exactly what we've seen a few times already for Taylor.
Got the Taylor faithful right in front of us.
And they're loving it right now.
New set of downs from the Trojan 28.
Yes, in heavy, we're go ahead.
Chihino gets his offense set, kicks out Taylor to the right side, looking his way. Chihino, screen across the left to Rumero. Blockers in front. Rumero inside the red zone. Across the 15. And Rumero takes a big shot, but his legs just continue to churn. He's a machine out there in the ground game for this Vikings offense. And another first down for Geneva.
Chihino and the Geneva offense set that screen up perfectly, rolled a little bit out toward the right, everyone looking that way, and then the screen back to the left and had the blockers in front for a nice first down conversion.
When you send Taylor in motion as well, you force one of your linebackers or defensive backs to keep an eye on him as well, and then you flip the field like that. Perfect play call from the Vikings. Up a touchdown, here's Chihino, looking to make it 2. Chihino passing across the middle, caught across the 5, broken up midair. Ripped out as he was making the grab, trying to find Wepner once again in the red zone. Through some pretty heavy traffic across the middle of the field, and as he was coming across, he just couldn't hang on.
Yeah, that was a nice throw, though. The ball was there. But again, you said it, heavy traffic, and they were able to rip it out. So credit to the Trojans' defense.
And now here we go, Brandon. 4th and 11 from the 16.
And they're going to kick.
They will send out the kicker, Jaden Hogden. 3 for 6, a long of 37. This one will be a 32-yard attempt. The lefty kicker, snap and hold from 32.
Wide right.
Is no good.
Hooked it just wide to the right.
Surrender Cobras on display on the home sideline. Cary-Grove Trojans looking like some Packers fans over there. Had to bring it up. I had to. From the 32, Seaberg gets set. Cary-Grove's won their last 18 games in a row, dating back to last year.
This is good.
Here's a pitch across the right side to Boone. Lead blocker in front. Boone racing for the sideline. into Geneva territory. Boone levels his shoulder, stays upright.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Holden Boone, what a rush.
Yeah, what a rush. But, I mean, you're not going to bring him down more often than not with just a shoulder check. And he showed that there. Lucky that there was another defender in the area to finish the play.
Great lead block on display as well.
I believe it was Dylan Reyes who tried to lower the shoulder and knock Boone out of bounds. But, again,
Instead, Boone just bounces off of him. 2nd and 5, some personnel changes for the Trojans. Michael Messett, senior fullback, checking back into the game. He's laid some healthy blocks so far today.
Yeah, they're not afraid to give him the ball, though, either.
Massett's had a couple of touchdowns so far this year. That next man up mentality with All-State Logan Abrams out. Seaberg himself right behind his line. Legs continuing to churn.
Going to be just short.
A whistle on the play. Player is down.
Yeah, a couple of guys slow to get up for Geneva. David
guys,
Avita was one of the men slow to get up.
Avatia and Burt, the other one. Whistled dead with 2:11 left to go in the half. And they will spot him right at the 1-yard line. Trojans trying to knot this thing up before halftime. Seaberg under center. Man in motion. A give to Boone. Boone is clipped just short.
Sean Lane, the linebacker, was able to come through and hit him behind the line to make the play there.
Lane, a team-high 73 tackles on the year entering today's contest. And another quick timeout called.
Brings up a big 4th down.
And by the way, they'd have to march 99 yards down the field.
With no timeouts.
4th and goal for the Trojans. Seaberg over to Boone.
What?
And Boone
He's
is
short.
stopped short. Vikings let out a huge sigh of relief. David Avatia, who's got 38 tackles on the year, one of the leaders of that front four, makes a critical stop. And the Vikings take over on offense, up a score with 1:57 to go in the half.
Credit to that Vikings defense coming up big on back-to-back stops.
And now Chihino in shotgun, 5 yards deep in his own end zone, takes a shot for Taylor. Taylor one-handed across the 25, staying in bounds, maintaining possession. Talk about some breathing room.
Yeah, you think you've seen it all, and you just can't stop talking about this guy. Taylor, just the one-handed play. We saw him attempt a spinning one-handed play earlier, unable to bring it in. But, I mean, we talked about how they're backed up in their own end zone. Chihino's throwing from his end zone and just able to get all kinds of room now with Taylor.
Everything is pinch and plump. Everything is forcing us to the edge. So
Chihino on 1st and long.
18, 19.
Trojans bringing 3. Chihino steps up, has Taylor, 50-50 ball tipped out of the hands. It's intercepted. Trojans have the ball and a good return. Flag is down. That pass was intercepted after Taylor tipped it up in the air. Preston Walsh, his 3rd pick of the year.
Yeah, and just Walsh in the right area, an overthrow for Chihino. Taylor tried to leap up and get it. It was off his hands, and the waiting safety was just right there in Walsh, able to get a huge pick.
So before we see the Trojan offense back out onto the field, let's introduce the 3rd man of our crew. Not yet. We gotta figure out what exactly is going on with all these penalties. We'll hear from Tony soon. 1:28 remaining. But for a team with 2 timeouts, still plenty of time left on that scoreboard. Here come the Trojans, 2nd and 11. Seaberg dropping back, has time across the middle, caught by the tight end.
They both ran middles.
Across the middle, 2 guys there. Pass reeled in by Vivaldelli, the 6'3 senior.
Yeah, just using his size. He was in the area and strong hands to reel it in.
Seaberg clock winding down. Here's a give to the previously mentioned Michael Massett. Clock stops at 26.9.
It's the second timeout for Cary-Grove. They have one left. Geneva without any timeouts.
Same look, wide 50, really wide 50.
Viking faithful get to their feet. Seberg to Boone. Boone inside the 5. Untouched in for the score. Holden Boone for the second time today. First one was a bit longer of a rush, but Holden Boone, second rushing touchdown today.
Guard did not see 7.
14-13 as we await the extra point. Jaden Apgar on, trying to knot this thing up at 14 all. Seberg to hold. Snap and hold. Apgar's kick blocked.
That's all right. We got the ball at half.
Getting a big paw on it. Number 7, Sean Lane, across that right side, along with Reno Bianchi giving pressure. Second kick that's been no good today. 3rd and 6, Seberg checks to his sideline. Audibles to his tight end. 3rd and medium. Seberg will pitch it across to Boone. Over to the right side. Blockers in front. First down and then some. Boone down the far sideline into Geneva territory. And finally pushed out of bounds beyond the Geneva 40-yard line.
Yeah, eventually it's Tate Barron who finally pushes him out of bounds, but great play call there by the Trojans to get him out in space, and Boone was off to the races. You mentioned it, blockers in front, and a huge pickup.
Gain of 33 on the rush by Boone. Michael Massett, that lead blocker, will check out of the ballgame.
Yeah, but this is the situation that you want to be in if you're Geneva's defense. 4th and 4. It's not a 4th and 1, 4th and 2. So try to create this stop.
Seberg throwing a pass. Has a receiver inside the red zone. Tripped up, and it'll be a touchdown for the Trojans. Clipped from behind. It doesn't matter. For the second week in a row, Landon Barnett's got a receiving touchdown.
Yeah, Tate Barron tried to save the touchdown, but, I mean, that play was there the whole time. It was really a question of whether or not Seberg would get the ball off on time. He was running wide with plenty of space in front of him.
Now up by 5.
They haven't been able to break off a huge run, the Vikings offense, but they've been picking up those 4 and 5 on first down. That really set you up for the rest of that series.
It allows you to spread out your offense a bit more as well, open up the playbook. Chihino looking to throw, trips left. Flushed out of the pocket, now down the right sideline, 50-50 ball. Going up for it and making the grab. One-on-one over his defender. Finnegan Wepner gets his name called and comes down with a big grab.
Yeah, the senior making his name known, getting his name called out. He caught the first touchdown in this ball game for the Vikings, and a big pickup right there.
Chihino again today. Pocket collapses, starts scrambling, remains calm under pressure, doesn't try to rush anything too much. Trips to the left once again for Chihino. Fakes the handoff, looks Taylor's way, has him at the line of scrimmage. 2 blockers in front of him. Taylor's got the first down inside the 30 and clipped out of bounds before reaching the 25-yard line.
Yeah, and a nice job on the outside. A couple of guys blockers, Pescoli and Conkey, both setting up key blocks there to create the space for Taylor. That's what you want to do. Just get the ball in your playmaker's hands any way you can. Create the screen for Taylor, and, of course, we've seen what he can do in the open field.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of times so far, especially this playoffs, running some jet sweeps, just getting the ball in his hands. But on a simple play like that where you have 2 other guys, they'll run the same play instead on the near side of the field. Receivers throwing good blocks in front of them inside the 20 and forced out before the 15. It's that same play, not a screen, or excuse me, not a jet sweep either. But when you have two guys in front of him able to pick up those defenders and just create a wide open lane for him to get running an open field, it's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what this is. It's just get the ball in the hands of your best player, and that's by far and away Tylan Taylor.
Clock is stopped at 4:16 in this third quarter. Geneva down 6, trailing for the first time in today's contest. The lights have turned on here at Burgess Field on a cloudy, overcast day. It's November weather for football for sure. Here's Rumero across the right side, makes one, makes two, men miss. Stiff arms the third, reaching for the pylon. Inside the 5, he's pushed out before he can get in for 6.
Oh, what a nice play there. Chihino kicks the guy out wide to the left side, so the defense is thinking the ball will go that way. Instead, you hand it off to Rumero, who bounces out to the right. And again, we talked about misdirection for Cary-Grove, sending everyone one direction and going the other way. Well, we saw it there for the Vikings.
It's still Rumero in, along with two blockers in front, Gavin Burton, Sean Lane, the linebackers. Rumero again across the right side. He's in for the score. Michael Rumero has tied this ball game up at 20-all as we await the extra points.
What a great answer for the Vikings. We mentioned that this is the first time they've been trailing in this game. It was kind of deflating at the end of the first half, throwing that pick when you thought you could potentially go down and take a 2-score lead.
But yeah, already in your own territory, it feels like you have to go for it. Seberg looking to throw. Over the middle, in double coverage, picked off at the 50. Intercepted by the Vikings.
That's Nelson Wendell, the sophomore, with the pick.
Two defenders in the area. The sophomore jumps the route, reads his eyes the whole way, and look at that. That's a memory that young man's going to remember forever. Picked up by all of his teammates on the sideline. Nelson Wendell getting his name called, a sophomore call-up for these playoffs. Cary-Grove trying to set up a rematch from last year's state championship. Geneva trying to do something they haven't done in over 16 years. Chihino looking to throw over the middle, has Taylor. Taylor inside the red zone. Knocked down by Walsh. Taylor over the middle, and he had another receiver in the area, Conkey. Good awareness by the sophomore saying, let me get out of the way.
And it's just a talent mismatch all the way around. You're looking at it, and it's like, Taylor's the best player. How does he get that wide open? Well, it's because he's able to outrun and just create space anytime he's out there. It's impossible to cover him.
From the 18-yard line, very spread out offense on this possession here for Chihino, who will give to Rumero right through the middle, untouched inside the 10, lowers his shoulder for a huge hit inside the 5.
And that's what that's able to set up. You go with the big play to Taylor. The defense is back on their heels trying to figure out how do we defend this Georgia recruit, this all-state wide receiver, and then you just run it right up the gut, right at him.
Rumero pounding it right down the middle. All eyes are screaming tush push, but who knows? Chihino to Rumero. Rumero in for the score. Behind the right side of that line. And Sean Lane, the linebacker, in as a blocking back once again. And he is down on the turf. Help to his feet as we await the kickoff by Hogden. We'll see if they try some onside trickery on this one. We'll hear from the third man of our crew, Tony Cornish Jr. After this kickoff, it's muffed, and Geneva successfully, once again, recovering the onside kick. And it's Nelson Wendell again, who had the interception earlier. A referee is down. But the Vikings celebrating it as if they have it.
Yeah, and a little bit of trickery, as we said. The official wasn't aware of what was going on either. Ended up caught up in the action. and taken down as there was a scramble for the football.
Starting this drive just barely in Trojan territory. Chihino rolling right. Looking to throw. Evades a tackler. Chihino down the far sideline. Has a receiver. It's Conkey at the 30. Conkey gets down to the 21.
That was Nate Jonas applying the pressure. He was there. It looked like he had the sack, and just heartbreak for the Trojans. It looks like you have a big play on first down defensively. Instead, it's a big offensive play the other way for the Vikings.
The Geneva superfan to our right needs a raise. He's got the bullhorn. He's got the sponsors.
Yeah, they were giving out the little clappers and noisemakers and pom-poms at the gate as well.
This is a community that hasn't been to this round since 2008. The entire town rallying behind the Vikings. Chihino has a receiver at the 25. Has a lane inside the 20. Bobbing and weaving forward, it's Finnegan-Wepner.
Yeah, that was a slow developing play, but it worked out well for the Vikings. They had blockers in front for Webner to pick it up.
They'll say that Wepner was forced out at the 8-yard line. And I think Chihino doesn't want to count that interception. He wants to call it a gift. But nonetheless, one interception from number 12 today. Looking for another end zone. Has trouble with the ball, and there's the turnover. Tony just called it. Trouble with the snap. Tried to get the handoff to Rumero. And the Trojans land on it inside their own 10. Tony is stunned to my left.
I mean, you put it out there in the air, and it happens very next play. Coming out of a timeout, Geneva had everything going their way. They have the onside kick recovery. They're driving inside the 10-yard line, and then you put the ball on the ground.
As Seabird gets his teammates set. Commotion in the middle. Seaberg himself through a hole. Seaberg across the 40, moves the chains, and silences, for the time being, the Viking crowd.
Yeah, that's how you quiet the home crowd. Just a big pickup after it looks like, again, that's the other challenging thing of playing against this Cary-Grove offense is it's just frustrating as a defense because you're getting that 2-yard play, the 3-yard play.
Some personnel changes for the Trojans. Back into the game, Gabriel Rose in place of Michael Massett. 3rd and 7. Seaberg gets set. Seaberg keeps it himself across the right side. Blockers in front, cuts up middle. Seaberg inside the 30. Seaberg is going to waltz into the end zone untouched. Another rushing touchdown for the Trojans. Peyton Seaberg, the All-State first-team quarterback at 6A, has made this a 28-26 contest.
Yeah, just a great play there. He was able to take it himself and basically untouched. As soon as he hit that hole and found the gap, he takes it all the way untouched.
So now, out of necessity, going for 2. Job's not finished just yet for this Trojan offense on this drive.
Of course, capable of running it in from 2 yards out, but we've seen a goal line stand from the Vikings defense already.
A pitch to the left side to Boone, lowering the shoulder. Boone reaching for the pylon is no good. He is stopped short at the 1-yard line. The Vikings make the stand.
And who's right there in the front of it making the first hit? Nelson Wendell.
Wendell and Lex Griffith aiding the sophomore after missing the extra point in the first half.
If you're Cary-Grove's defense, so you're allowing that separation for the short yardage and letting them get the underneath passes.
Well, and there's been times this season where the entirety of Geneva's offense has been, let's find Talon Taylor and get in the ball. They've been doing a great job today spreading out the ball, getting it in various weapons. Chihino to throw. Has Wepner across the 50. Wepner into into Cary-Grove territory. At the 42, he gets taken down.
And right on cue to your point, one of those other Wepners, Finnegan-Wepner.
Final 4 minutes of action. Geneva trying to obviously get back into the end zone, but trying to drain as much of this final 3:42 as they can. Here's Trojans on 2nd and 8 out of the timeout. Sends Wepner in motion. Fakes the give to Rumero. Trojans will take this one himself. Trojans diving forward. Fighting for the first down. It'll be close depending on where they spot him, but Trojans uses his legs, and they do motion the chains to move. Senior quarterback, who's had a great arm all day long, relying on the legs down the stretch.
Yeah, that's just great vision and great awareness there from Trojans. Again, we haven't seen a whole lot of it. A couple of design runs, that wasn't the case there. He was looking for options. I expect them to run it here, or you go with one of those short yardage plays, like a screen pass over to the outside. Just something that you can guarantee the clock will continue to run and force them to use that timeout.
Snap on the ground. Trojans picks it up, has a diving Taylor inside the 20. Talon Taylor, a beautiful slant route through coverage. Maintains himself upright, holds on to the ball.
Yeah, or of course you can just go to your best player once again. I mean, the slant in the middle, that's a safe play. It's guaranteed almost, and you get it to Taylor. You put it close to him, he's going to make that catch.
Trojans under center. Victory formation for the Vikings.
And that will do it.
Down goes Cary-Grove. The win streak is snapped. 6A will have a new state champion in 2024.